I don't know if the D line is in any of these because they wasn't in the good. So it's probably now we looking at bad and ugly. So now with that, this is where it could get bad. But before we get into that, man, we had some people in the chat. I want to tap in with them real quick. So if you don't mind, man, we're going to go ahead and tap in with one of our segments, man. We call it. And we call that thing roll call, man. You know, we got to give a shout out to all the Raiders fans in the chat, all the Rundown fam in the chat. So first comment we got, man, from Tyler. I don't know how to pronounce the last name, but I don't want to mess it up. I'm just going to say Raiders, man. I'm just going to go ahead and say your comment. Oh, I don't want to mess that up at all. My boy Cheeto in the building, man. What's going on, big dog? How you feeling? Yes, sir. He says, oh, yeah, Midtown Moe in the building. Yeah, you already know, man. We had to come with the heavy hitters today, man. We had to come with, it's the off season, not that much to talk about. So we had to come with heavy hitters on the show, man.
You already know.
Cheeto saying the linebacker room. Hey, look, he didn't like Jermaine Pratt at all either. He was like, all right, it's whatever. So if you weren't impressed by the Jermaine Pratt, I can see why you saying this. 100%.
Yeah. I get it. I totally get it. There are going to be some critics and some people who are a bit skeptical because the Bengals defense was terrible last year. It was the reason why they didn't make the playoffs.
Garbage. But I mean, hey, they almost making history this year. They might have the 33rd ranked defense. Who knows? But
they don't have one of their edge.
The way it's looking, it's not good at all. Yeah. Dre for show in the building, man. Salute, big dog. Salute. Bloody Raider in the building. Rundown. Thanks for the content as always, man. Hey, thank you for tuning in as always. Appreciate you. Turf in the building. What it do? Salute. John Davis. What up, Mo? What's going on?
John. I know him as John 585, but his he's John Davis here, so I guess we'll call him John Davis.
Hey, and make sure of course Mo has his regular scheduled programming after this. So if y'all tap in with Mo on the Bleacher Report, it's Bleacher Report, right? After this, yep. Correct. Yep. All right, so yeah, as soon as we get done with that, go ahead and tap in with Mo on his other show as well, man. If you want more of that good Mo content. Raider Trey, man, what's the deal, big dog? What up, Big Trey? How you feeling? Yeah, he says, what's good, Mo? Yeah, my guy DJ, man. Hey, always interacting with him on X and all that, man. What's happening, bro? What's going on? Last but not least, Charm City J in the building, man. What's the deal? Just got to give a shout out to all the people in the family up in here. But as we get it in, right? So we just went through the good, right? Had Raider fans feeling nice and warm inside, right? We got the fuzzies. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, we gave him the fuzzies, you know, Ashton Jeanty, Rookie of the Year. Ooh, I like that. You know, JPJ, Big Leap. Oh, yeah, that sounds good to me. But, you know, as we like to do, I always say we can give you the stuff that sound good or we can give you the stuff that's real, right, at the end of the day. And there is always some good to talk about, but this is where it gets real, right? And this is where we start talking about, all right, well, where can we start looking with realistic eyes instead of Raider goggles and saying, all right, bro, where are we deficient? So, boom, we getting into the bad, right? And the bad can be, all right, this might just average out. This won't be as good as people might think it might be. You know what I mean? And then going from there. So, top 3 to 5, man. What you got for us, Mo?
I'll go with Tyrie Wilson not breaking out. And I know there's not a lot of high expectation for him, but I feel like Tyrie Wilson right now gonna be the 3rd edge rusher. That is not what you want out of your first round pick from a few years ago. You want, by year 3, you want to see a breakout. Just did a show on him yesterday, and the expectation is if he's not getting close to 10 sacks, you will not be picking up the 5th-year option on his rookie deal. So we're not going to see a Tyrie Wilson breakout. Can we see maybe 6.5, 7 sacks? I think that's possible, especially if he gets more snaps on the inside with Christian Wilkins being banged up. We'll talk about that in a moment. But if he gets more snaps on the inside, more opportunities where he can show his versatility, you know, can he get 6 to 7 sacks? I think that's a realistic expectation. But if you're looking for that Tyrie Wilson breakout in his 3rd year, his 2nd healthy season, it ain't going to happen. Not as a 3rd edge rusher, not with Malcolm Kuntz back in that lineup. Ja Joyner, the undrafted rookie. Also, he could crack the rotation and take some snaps from Tyrie Wilson.
Look here, man. If at any point start seeing Ja Joyner, and that's not saying Ja Joyner's not talented, because I actually like when they picked him up. I was a fan of that. But if he's getting more snaps than Tyrie, it's over. You might as well toss that up. Because we talking about an undrafted rookie who just got here. You know what I mean? Like, and he's getting more snaps. He would show more promise. I struggle with this, man. I struggle with it because at first I was a Tyrie defender, right? At first, and I'm not ashamed to say it because you see the foot and you see all that, and you're like, he's here now, and then you can do. So you got to hope he does something and he progresses, but I don't see any progression, dog. From year 1 to year 2, I saw nothing that made me say, all right, bro, he worked on the technical side of things. I didn't see that.
You also have to look at, let's remember, K'Lavon Chaisson had a better year, really, than Tyrie Wilson. And they picked up K'Lavon Chaisson off the scrap heap. Tyrie Wilson, Chandler Jones went AWOL, right? Malcolm Kuntz tore his ACL before the season even started. Last year was supposed to be the year that Tyrie Wilson was supposed to take control of that starting job opposite Max Crosby. He didn't do that. K'Lavon Chaisson, again, basically outsnapped him. Outplayed him for most of that year, and they picked him up off the scrap heap, off the waiver. So I'm not high on Tyrie Wilson right now. Can he make another minimal incremental improvement? He sure can, but it's just not enough to satisfy his draft pedigree, his draft status as a top 7 pick.
Yeah, I mean, then I saw Charles Snowden getting as many snaps last year, and so it's like, okay, that's real ugly, and to your point, man, it's an incremental leap is not enough, right? Because every year, I don't care how many muscles get stacked on each other, dog. I want to know, where are the hands? Where are you working in the offseason to get yourself as a better pass rusher? I think. So is he going to go down as another one of those Raider draft picks that we're like, God damn, he's going to go in that list? You think, Mo?
Yeah, I think he's headed toward that list, kind of like a notch above Cleve Farrell. A bit where Cleve Farrell was like, you just didn't see the progress enough, and you see where he's at now. He's in Washington. Just wasn't, when you draft a player, and this is about Cleve Farrell, when you draft a player in that top 8, a defensive lineman, you're looking for a pass rusher, someone who's going to get to the quarterback. You're not drafting a run stuffer 100%. Or a versatile player who's going to give you a sprinkle here, a sprinkle there in the top 8 pick. You're expecting a pass rusher, whether it's a D tackle, an edge rusher, a versatile player who can play both. You're looking for a sack getter, and that wasn't Cleve Farrell. And to this point, it hasn't been Tyrie Wilson. It's all about Tyrie Wilson's potential and his body makeup and versatility, not enough production.
Yeah, with Cleve, I don't blame him as much because he shouldn't have been picked there at all. I put that coaching error. But with Tyrie, see, this is the thing. I do kind of blame Josh McDaniels. I do kind of say, okay, well, that's a dumb pick. Of course, you had Jalen Carter there. I was saying Christian Gonzalez. You had him there, right? You had certain guys. But, and hearing it, there's a lot of people that sit around like, okay, Tyrie is a guy. He's a dude, right? He's this, he's that. How much of it can we – a lot of us are going to blame Josh McDaniels, but I'm going to put it at this point. How much of it is on player, right? Like, how much of it can we say – maybe he's just not progressing to the point we want him to? Because now you can speculate or not, Mo, but either way, Alex says it here. It seems like a lot of these younger guys have more of that killer instinct on the field. It just don't seem like he's all the way there sometimes, man. I mean, maybe it's just me, and I'm not meaning like IQ or anything, but it's like, it seems like you're just thinking too much on the field. It's always a thought process on the field of what it looks like he's trying to do, what move he wants to do. I mean, do you think that it should be coaching error that we should blame this on with Tyrie, or is it to the point where we're saying the player is just not the player we need him to be?
He's just not the player we need him to be, because this is not like he's gone through multiple defensive coordinators. Patrick Graham has been there since Tyrie was drafted, so you can't blame it on a regime change on that side of the ball. And you have to make the plays. And as I said, he had a golden opportunity to showcase his full potential last year. There were injuries. There was no Chandler Jones. K'Lavon Chaisson came on later on. And as someone said in the chat, as I think Alex said in the chat, it just seemed like other guys have way more fire and just way more hungry. then Tyrie Wilson, he has to show that fire, that passion this year as a third edge rusher.
100%. Hey. I'm trying to figure it out. I've been trying to find it all day, right? And we're gonna move on to the next one. But we just had that pass rush summit, and I ain't see him there, but I saw Josh Joyner there. That scared me. I'm gonna just leave it at that. That scares me, dog. And that tell you a lot. I ain't gonna lie. So we'll move on, right, from Tyrie. And I think some people are definitely gonna agree with you. I don't think you'll get any gripe there. With Tyrie not having a breakout. People was already ready to get rid of him last year. So at this point, bro, you speaking the gospel. But
now or never for Tyrie.
This is it. So what's our next bad? All right. What else should we be prepared for?
This is bad for now, but the Raiders are being stubborn about this, and they could fix it with one move. Okay. Right. The slot cornerback position is bad right now.
Gospel.
So what the Raiders are doing right now, they're lining up Jeremy Chin, their best safety in the slot. So they're taking him out of his natural position, then creating a hole at the safety spot. We'll get to that in a moment. They have Darnay Holmes there, who played 2 seasons under Patrick Graham with the New York Giants. They obviously don't trust Darnay Holmes because they wouldn't have Jeremy Chin playing a ton of snaps in the slot. And if they know that, why don't you just go out and sign Mike Hilton? Just sign Mike Hilton. Mike Hilton, at 31 years old, one of the best slot cornerbacks in the league still. What slot cornerback has had 12 tackles for loss and back-to-back years? This is a 5-slot cornerback getting his nose dirty behind the line of scrimmage and making stops against the run. He is still a free agent. You are moving your safety to slot cornerback when you have one of the best slot cornerbacks still available as a free agent. Bring that man in, Mike Hilton, have him play for Darnay Holmes, and move Jeremy Chin back to his natural position at safety. You can move him around as you wish as a chess piece, but have a primary cornerback there in the slot position. It should be Mike Hilton if you don't trust Darnay Holmes.
Mo, I don't think you understand how many lives and videos I have made talking about this very topic, man. I am sitting going crazy because it's a glaring need. And I've explained to people multiple times, right? Yes, we can bring Chin down in the box, and yeah, that helps to some degree. But even me, I'm an Isaiah Palomau fan. I like him, but he's never played center field safety full time like that either, right? So, and I personally think he's better in the box, but that's another conversation. So now, like you're saying, we're moving dudes out of position. We're doing all this and that when the answer's right in front of our face, man. Mike Hilton is perfect. He would be and you look at the injury history with him, he don't get injured, right? He don't get injured. He's a very good tackler. Like you said, he's a blitzer as well, like how we were using Nate Hobbs before he left. We can do some things with Mike Hilton. So I'm definitely on that. But I want to ask you this, because I've even thrown this caveat out there. If they don't want to do Mike Hilton, what about Justin Simmons? Now, we talked about if they're committed to saying Chin is going to play nickel and linebacker and they're just going to be stubborn, what about then saying, all right, bro, then let's just get a safety that we can trust, that we know can be a good center fielder back there? How would you feel about that combination?
I did a lot recently, and the dream scenario for me would be sign them both. Sign Mike Hilton and Justin Simmons. Get you a proven center fielder, get you a proven slot cornerback. All of a sudden, I feel a lot better about the defense, particularly the secondary. Justin Simmons has had at least 2 interceptions in every year in his career. I know he's past the age of 30, but he could still be an effective center fielder. And I think he would bring valuable veteran leadership to that position where you have Isaiah Palomar, you talked about, not an experienced safety. They got Lonnie Johnson Jr., but he came out of Kentucky as a cornerback. He's been a backup for most of his career, 83 games.
Special teamer, really.
So the Raiders need some proven production at that position. I would be all in on bringing in Justin Simmons if he's willing to come to Boston.
Now, if you're telling me that we get both of them, that makes me very confident. That makes me very confident in what I have back there, and to be able to play that, like you said, chess piece, right? So now I can move dudes around and really be versatile like that. So, okay. All right. Do you think it's possible for the signing? You know, you're probably better with the money aspect of it than I am, but as far as what they can get signed for, it's possible for us to go ahead and make that work?
The Raiders have the cap space. I believe they're over $30 million in cap dollars. I mean, the guys that are signing at this point in the offseason, they're not making the big bucks.
Right.
These are $5 to $6 million signings. Jermaine Pratt got a $4.25 million contract, $500K in incentives, and he's going to be their day one starter. So if you're signing at this point in the offseason, you were either injured and you're coming off of a down year, you're going to have to take less, or you're past the age of 30, Mike Hilton, Justin Simmons, and you're probably not going to break the bank. So the Raiders can afford whoever they want to bring in to upgrade that defense.
Oh, yeah. And then knowing that, and so far, I don't want to jinx it, but it looks like they are actively looking to upgrade the roster. I mean, with Pete Carroll, you kind of see that in his history, right? He's going to look anywhere he could find under a rock, maybe, if he can find somebody that can play football for him and play it at a high level. So I'm with you, man. You speaking gospel to me so far, and this is nothing new for us here on the rundown. But want to give a shout out to my guy Mike Velli in the building. What's happening, man? What's going on?
Guy.
Oh, man, make sure you guys tap in. Yeah, make sure you guys tap in. He got his YouTube up and running, so y'all tap in with the big dog, man. And of course, we do our film breakdowns on Thursdays, man. So tap in with us there tomorrow. It's gonna be a spicy one with the linebackers for sure. We got Alec. He says, "Get Hilton now." I don't know what the holdup is, and I would like to do it before training camp too.
Exactly.
Let me see. Seems like pigs in the building. Salute. Seems like they want to scoop up cut players and may have an eye on some other teams' rosters. Could be.
I like a proactive front office.
Exactly.
Why wait and hope that you find someone you like, that hoping that player gets cut? Go out and improve the position now while you can.
Yeah. I'm with that. Because it seems like that's what the Raiders did for so long, right? We just wait. And then there's a free agent that's out there, a veteran, and then we look towards the middle of the season, they helping that team push to the playoffs. We're like, God damn, like they said to sign this man the whole time.
Be proactive, not reactive.
There you go. So this is a big one. We should have kept Hobbs. How do you feel about that?
I'll add a caveat to that. We should have kept Hobbs for the right price. If you look at what Hobbs got from the Green Bay Packers, bit of an overpay considering his injury history. Hobbs, while I like him on the field, missed a lot of time. Missed quite a bit of time in his years as a Raider. So wasn't as reliable when it came to availability. If Hobbs at the right price, sure, but not for what the Packers gave him.
Oh, no. I was the main leader of that train when it came to if he wants a certain number that is above what maybe we're looking at some averages across the league, it can't happen. It can't happen. Just like you said, I'm a stickler when it comes to those injuries, man. If you're not on the field,
exactly.
And we can, like, again, and I have this. We can go a little bit of tangent, but I have this conversation all the time. I get people mad when I talk about Ja'Cory Bennett because I'm not immediately like he's a top 5 corner in the league or he's gonna be a top 5 corner because I'm like, well, he ain't finished the season in 2 years. So it's like, how can I be confident in that? I just got to be confident. We just had that thing with Hobbs. So it's something that's coming to a head. We have to pay attention to it.
Yeah, we'll get to the secondary in a moment. I'll tell you that in a moment.
I might have just preview something. See, look, hey, might have just preview something. And shout out my guy Cheeto and Mike because I be going at them consistently when it comes to Ja'Cory. So shout out my guys, man. One man's trash. Yeah, basically. So we got that. We got 2 out the way, right? So slot corner being trash, and we need to be proactive to get that, but it can be fixed, right? It can be fixed. No Tyrie breakout, which I think people will agree with you on that one. Not a lot of confidence in that either. But what would be the third one?
Guard position. Now, this is kind of a wait and see, but right now, as you said, it's kind of it seems like Alex Kappa has the right guard position locked down. Dylan Parham has played both guard positions, may not have the strength to be a full-time guard. We'll see. He's going into a crucial year. He is battling with Jordan Meredith and Thayer Munford Jr. for that left guard spot. Caleb Rogers, they did draft in the 3rd round. He seems to be coming along as the backup behind Alex Kappa. But the guard positions concern me a bit. Those are the guard is not, obviously people don't watch football for the offensive line play. But the guard position is going to be key to monitor for the Raiders at training camp because, one, as you said, there aren't two surefire starters at that spot or at those spots. And then you got to remember, as great as Ashton Jeanty is, all running backs need the help of their offensive line, right? We like what we see out of Jackson Powers Johnson, but if your guard position is weak, you're going to have some down weeks when it comes to the run game. Ashton Jeanty is not going to have space to run if defenders are in his lap once he touches the football. So I'm looking at that guard position, little concern there because Dylan Parham has been, you could say, an average guard, maybe. Alex Kappa had a bad year last year in Cincinnati. He's looking for a rebound year, but he's familiar with John Spytek because they drafted him in Tampa Bay. You know, can he get that rebound year? Is Jordan Meredith the better option? He's been around the Raiders roster on and off the active roster and practice squad. We'll see what goes on there, but the guard position has to be good. The thing, too, is, let's keep in mind, Brendan Carroll is the offensive line coach.
Right.
An extensive resume coming from the collegiate ranks. I know he was a co-offensive line coach in Seattle, but that was Tom Cable's offensive line when he was there under Pete Carroll. Now it's Brendan Carroll's offensive line. Can he bolster that resume? Can he prove that he's a pro-level offensive line coach? Because I say this year in and year out. Your offensive line is the engine of your offense. If you have a poor offensive line, it's going to be tough for your offense to rack up yards and touchdowns and scores. If you have an average offensive line, it could take a Pro Bowl level player down to an average player, an all-pro player down to a average player. So looking at that guard position, though, it's not the sexy position. Those two battles at those guard spots going to be key for the Raiders offense.
Yeah. You know, I've come to learn, right, when you speak about the running back, the average fan tends to forget that it's a very, very, very dependent position. A very dependent position. I mean, if your 5 guys in the front are trash, you can have – there's only one running back that I know that can have 5 trash O-linemen and still do what he did. And he played in Detroit and wore number 20. That's it. That's the only running back that I know. Maybe Bo Jackson, maybe. But Barry Sanders is the only one that I've ever seen that can have trash O-linemen, and it doesn't matter. But damn near every Hall of Fame back will tell you the same thing, bro. My offensive line. I need my offensive line. And Jeanty, that generational talk, and this is not a shot or anything, but it will dwindle real quick if that guard and offensive line positions aren't where it's supposed to be, because we're not going to see what makes him special. What makes him special is getting in the open field and that contact balance not being brought down, right? And being a force of nature damn near in the open field. You're not going to be able to see that if he's bottled up in the backfield, like Mo said.
See, the problem is when you, like you said, when we talk the run game, the first topic of discussion is, well, who's the running back? Oh, he's trash. Oh, he's averaging less than 4 yards per carry. But you don't look at the supporting parts around that running back. What type of offensive line does he have? Who's the offensive line coach designing these plays? Now, of course, some of that goes to Chip Kelly as the offensive coordinator.
Which I like that. I do like that.
I like that too. But your offensive line coach is key to developing some of those young players. DJ Glaze at right tackle. He's going to need development.
Yes.
He's going to need development. If people are high on DJ Glaze, I got a lot of people saying I'm a DJ Glaze hater. All I was saying is when you allow over 50 pressures as a rookie, I can't say that you're going to automatically just be a breakout player your second year. And that's been the case with DJ Glaze last year. Right. So he allowed a ton of pressures last year, but we get it. First year, 3rd round pick. I understand. I'm not throwing him away yet. But what I'm saying is he's going to need some development, as well as Dylan Parham, even though he's going into a contract year, still a young player, still needs development.
And can I be real with you, Mo? Here on the rundown, man, I didn't gave up that dream right there, man. I'm already ready to ship that off. And to be honest with you, because this is my thing, okay? And this is where I have a problem with that. We're talking about development in year 4, right? And of course, like we're always developing, yes, but we're on year 4, damn near position 4, Mo. We playing guard, right guard, left guard. We came in as a center from college at Memphis, right? So where are we gonna stick? That's my question. Where at this point now, we should have already seen, like, okay, this is where he is, right? Now, if he has to move to another position because of injury, so be it, right? We know he's versatile, whatever the case. But as of right now, I can't say Dylan Parham has gave me any type of confidence to say he's for a surefire left guard or he's a surefire right guard. And if something happens, okay, we can do it, but I know for sure I'm throwing him there. And that's my problem with it because it's year 4. Like, we should know this already.
We absolutely should, and that's why I say I don't think he has the strength and power to play that position consistently. I think his issue is very similar to Andre James' issue at center, where he get pushed around a bit. Now, as you said, he was lean coming out of Memphis, even as an offensive lineman. He had a background as a tight end. So where does he stick? Does he win the job? Because he's looking at, if he wins the job and plays well, he can get a pretty good pay raise on the free agent market next year. If he doesn't win the job, he's a backup, and then his career goes who knows where. But first he's got to beat out Jordan Meredith and Thayer Munford Jr. Thayer Munford Jr. has experience. He's played 4 positions since Ohio State. Played every position except center. So we'll see if he can handle someone who has the collegiate starts that Thayer Munford had coming out of Ohio State and the versatility. If he wins that job, we'll see. But he's gonna. I know you hate to hear it, going into year 4, but he's going to need that development from all that staff.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part, you know. But what's funny is I say that about Parham, but then even with Thayer kind of having the same type of dilemma, where it's like we on year 4 or whatever, and you didn't bounced around, him going to guard, I actually like better. I like better than him playing tackle. If by all accounts, from what I've seen, he won first team Big Ten at Ohio State as a guard, right? So looking at it, I like his body frame a little bit better, right? If you were talking about putting him on the inside, because now look how big the interior gets if Thayer is there with JPJ. It gets a lot bigger, and then you got him next to Colton too. That's a big old line. My thing with him is he can't stay healthy. That's my problem with Thayer. And if you're going to be a starter, dog, we're going to be right in the same predicament again with Parham playing right there because you can't stay healthy. That's going to be my problem.
That's exactly why DJ Glaze was able to slip into that starting right tackle spot. If you remember last offseason, I believe Thayer Munford had a hand injury. Both hands. I think he injured both hands last offseason. I don't know what was going on there, but part of the reason he lost that job is because he couldn't stay healthy.
And see, that's the problem right there.